ready. All right, we're ready. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, so I'm sitting here with Edwardo Sanchez and Gretchen Lodge of Lovely Molly. And first off, Molly's not lovely. Okay, she's a downright scary bee.
She starts off lovely.
Yeah, but that's the
It doesn't last. Yeah, that's the past. No, she's definitely a very complicated woman who takes a bad situation and makes it worse. Yes. But it's like she empowers herself in a certain way, in a very sadistic way. And like we've talked about it before, it's like I think at the end of the movie she figures it out. She's like dealt with this part of her life and these issues that she had in her past. So. Yeah, she's definitely not lovely at the end of the movie.
No. When I was watching this movie, I was actually really happy to see, it felt like you came back home a little bit with your work. You obviously Blair Witch put you on the map.
Yeah.
And then this movie kind of had your signature back on it again. I thought that it kind of went away in some of the films in between.
Yeah.
And it was cool to see you come back.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I mean, to me it was like the idea of like taking the kind of the found footage genre that we kind of started with Blair Witch and like taking it to a different level. Not that the found footage, just the basic conceit of like having characters shoot a movie is dead with me, because I'm doing a movie now that uses that again. But at the same time, I wanted with Lovely Molly to kind of experiment and see if I could bring some of that found footage, first person POV kind of feel to a normal movie. And I think, I think it worked, with just the collaborators, the DP, the actors. I think we pulled off something where it is, it has elements of found footage, but at the same time, it's a normal film that, where the characters don't have to videotape themselves at every minute, which I find distracting sometimes in the found footage movies.
Well, you mix the first and the third kind of person with this, and what I thought was interesting, it's sort of what Molly's doing is kind of videotaping herself going insane, slowly, or you're seeing, through her eyes a little bit of the elements that are starting to make her go nuts.
Yeah,
so I like that cross.
No.
Oh, I'll get to you, Gretchen.
You're not gonna escape this one.
I'll get to you.
Yeah, I
thought that was an interesting mix.
Yeah, I mean that was the original premise. My writing partner Jamie Nash was like, "Hey, what if we write something where somebody videotapes themselves going through a possession, being possessed by a demon?" And I kind of took the idea and just ran with it. And I wrote most of the script by myself, but that initial idea of like, what would you do if like that's all you could do is just videotape yourself going through this thing? And I think, obviously Gretchen then took it to the next level.
Now you found Gretchen. You've never done any film work, but when I see somebody pull off a performance like that, because you have nothing without your lead here, without this woman. And to be able to go the places that you went, you have to be trained so well. So I know, even without reading your bio, I knew you came from a stage background. I'm like, there's no way that you can pull that off. So here, this woman she goes insane. She's got addictions. She's aggressive, and I'm curious where you had to get your information, because you have to be so specific to be able to play that. You really have to know you have to have such an understanding. So I'm curious as to what you did to be able to fill that up, to find that. The research, I suppose, I guess is a lack of a better word.
It was a lot of research.
I don't want to get in your head, you know what I mean?
Well, I started it whenever I suppose we had like final talks about, doing the project, and I just dove in like as soon as possible, going and visiting places, doing research on my own, talking with people, drawing from past experiences of my own. It was there were so many different, I had like a book full of things for myself, not only of my own writings, but points to go back to, things to remember. So yeah, it was a huge combination people's firsthand stories, things that people had to say about different issues that were going on. Yeah, it was just like it spanned all of the different sort of possibilities for what's going on with her. Like the research sort of like just spanned that whole thing.
Would you meet with addicts, that had gone through, I guess, had used heroin before? Because again, that's very specific about, that struggle. And then also, I guess, meeting with people that might be still in a hospital that have interesting things to say.
I did. I was able to visit a few places in New York because I was living in New York at the time, and just to sort of observe, you know what I mean? It wasn't always necessary to speak to people, although I did, but observation, I think, is like, because, when you're watching something, you want it to be personal, but at the same time, you want to know that it's like a struggle it's not for anyone. It's simply going on for that person. So the observation of someone going through their own struggle was almost more important than actually speaking to them, because you get to sort of see what is happening when no one's watching or when they don't think anyone's watching,